Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Vampire the Requiem Louisville. I'm Mike, I'm your storyteller for tonight, and I'm here with one of my players. Melody is still dealing with family stuff. Probably won't be back till this summer, but I'll keep everybody updated on that. So, but now I'll throw it over to my player to let you know who she is and what she does. So, Robin.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm playing Dee Dee. She is a vampire of the Invictus Covenant and Deva clan, and she has a YouTube cooking show that she puts on twice a week for a human audience.
Yeah.
Real food, not blood.
Yeah, I always thought that one of the drawbacks to being a vampire is you couldn't eat real food anymore.
Right, and when when you were a chef in life, that's a little difficult to deal with,
Right, yeah.
at least at first.
Because you live on blood, how much variety can you really get? So, but, so, last time you went on an interesting little hunt with your new friend.
That probably would have turned out better if I didn't roll so crappily, but
Well, yeah, but we all know by now your dice are out to kill you.
yeah.
It's just a question of when, not if. They're waiting till you're in the worst possible situation and then they're gonna kill you. So apparently the hunt last time wasn't the worst situation you're gonna be in. So um but you got home and Marcy came back and you guys are now your um sunset alarm goes off and you get up. Marcy, you hear the shower running right after your alarm goes off. So what do you do?
Well, I'll start the morning like I usually do. I'll go down to the kitchen and get myself some blood.
No, you do that, and there's already a half full mug of Marcy's blood type sitting on the table. So you you realize that she's already been up for a bit. So, and that's rather odd because she never gets up early because it is a bit of a risk because sunlight comes through a crack in your blackout curtains and you got problems. So,
Oh yeah, it hurts.
yeah. So it's very odd for her to be up and moving around already. But you get your blood out of the fridge and you pour your mug. And the other thing you notice once you're in the kitchen is the TV's going. and it's on the news channel, local news, where Marcy usually checks into things. And the story that's going is, yeah, it's talking about the strange occurrence in the woods last night. How, yeah, they found 4 people from different, yeah, campsites dead last night. And this sort of thing has never happened to Louisville before. And yeah, how this will affect yeah, the camping outdoor activity industry around Louisville, because people will be afraid to go out by themselves, and especially with the werewolf issue that nobody thought was real. Things are just starting to get really weird around Louisville. Humans are starting to panic a bit. In fact, the reporter interviewed one guy that's like, yeah, we should just take all our guns and just go shoot them. And she's like, we don't even know who did the camping thing. And he's like, it's got to be those werewolves running around, so we should just go shoot them.
That's speciesist. Speciesist.
Yeah. And uh, and that's when the story switches. Um, and it switches to this breaking news alert. And the guy at the desk is like, we've had a strange illness outbreak around Louisville. Initially, the hospitals thought it was just the flu, but it's not. And the emergency rooms are starting to fill up. And about this time, you see Marcy in her robe make her way into the kitchen and sit down. And she's like, oh, I thought I heard your alarm go off a couple minutes ago. Um, yeah, we've got a bigger problem than we thought.
So is it still all just vampires that are getting this thing, or humans getting it too, or what's going on with that? That's not something they mention on the news, of course.
That's what the story on the news is about. Humans are getting this same thing.
Well, that's not good at all. But at the same time, it sort of means that vampires aren't being targeted, so that could be a good thing
Well,
for us.
I view it more like whoever did this came after us, and then it turns out that this is not a good thing for humans either.
Or it could even have mutated to affect
Yeah,
humans, which could have been an unforeseen thing.
if a human dies the way my uncle did, people are gonna freak out.
I can imagine. Yeah, that's not. I mean, usually the flu don't do that to people.
If a human in the emergency room disintegrates before the doctors and nurses' eyes, people are gonna lose it.
Well, I mean that makes sense. I think I'd probably lose it too if I was a human and I saw that.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I've already called Corvus this morning, or this evening. He suggested that we need some way of keeping track of the humans who get worse, because we may have to spirit them away, as it were, because we don't want somebody disintegrating in front of. Because talk about news coverage.
right.
That's not something we need.
But at the same time, we don't actually know that it would affect humans that way. I mean,
No,
it might not. They might just die. So what we would need to do is keep track of one for now. Take him away and just watch, see what happens.
yeah,
And if he doesn't disintegrate, then we don't. I mean, there's nothing we can do. But if he does, then we've got an issue on our hands.
yeah. About that time, where is your phone, Colonel?
It's on the kitchen counter.
About that time, you get a text.
So I'll go look at it and see what it says. I'll grab my phone and take it back to the table.
It's Hanley. He's like, you two watching the news?
And I'll tell him, yes, unfortunately.
Well, to add to this little interesting situation, the staff member that I had that caught this passed away in their sleep last night. I opened their coffin this morning because my servants are usually up before I am. And I opened the coffin and there was a layer of dust, and that's it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say something to his relatives today. Um, but if this translate into a disease that kills humans, we have a real problem on our hands.
Yeah, so I'll text. Well, hopefully it won't. It'll kill humans in a different way, but you never know.
And we gotta find some way to do some research on this to come up with a way of its, yeah, to stop it from killing vampires.
Well, I I mean, maybe Corvus has some people on staff that would be able to do that to figure things out. I mean, he's got to have some sort of vampire scientists or something working for him, doesn't he?
Uh, I would hope, but I'm gonna have a meeting with the prince today to to talk about all this. Um, would you and Marcy like to have dinner over here tonight? Um, what, like what? It's probably around 5:30. So, um, when are you guys gonna do your show?
Well, what day of the week is it now?
It's Friday. Uh,
Tomorrow night. I do my show Tuesdays and Saturdays.
yeah, but Marcy interrupts and says you still have to come up with a recipe, get your shopping done, and all
Right.
that.
Well, I know what I'm going to make, but I definitely need to do some shopping.
Um, when do you think you'll be done with that?
Shouldn't take more than hour and a half, 2 hours. I've got a lot of stuff I gotta get.
Well, I'm gonna have a meeting with the prince. Just I'm gonna leave for there when um you're texting, so he's like, as soon as we're done, I'm gonna leave for there. Why don't you guys head over to my place after you put your ingredients away that you're gonna go buy?
Well, I'll mention all this to Mars and ask if she had anything she needed to do tonight or if
Yeah,
that works for her.
yeah. And I'm gonna have her roll for that. See if she had plans. She says, there were a couple little things I wanted to do, but nothing that can be put off till tomorrow if
Oh, well,
necessary.
or you can do them while I'm doing my shopping. And
Well, yeah, that's true. But either way, I should be available by like 9.
okay, sounds good then. So I'll text Hanley back and say that sounds like a plan.
Yes. Well, good, because that way I can tell you what happened in the meeting with the prince, and we can try and come up with something. So I will see you at 9 o'clock.
All right. See you then.
And so the two of you finished your cups of blood. You put the phone on the table. And you glance over at the TV, and um, there is a picture of a person in um, he's basically wearing overalls, a checkered shirt, and a baseball hat. But he's got a shotgun. And he, the scene shows him shooting at a werewolf that's running past him. He misses, and the werewolf turns around, and before he can even reload the shotgun, the werewolf is on top of him, and he's literally decapitating him.
Ah, shit. Stupid humans out there trying to start World War Wolf.
Yep. Marcy's like, this is the kind of crap we were afraid of when this started. They think their puny human weapons are going to do something.
And I can just about guarantee you there weren't no silver bullets in that thing either.
You can't put silver bullets in a shotgun. You could have a slug full of silver pellets, but that would cost you like ridiculous amounts of money. So, a shotgun is definitely not the weapon you want to use. Um, so she's like, I don't know what's going on with the werewolves and this vampire disease and all this.
This vampire human disease. Next thing we'll find out is it works on werewolves too, and there'll be a bunch of sick ones of them running around.
Margie's like, I don't even want to think about a sick werewolf. Because their response would be to get angry, and we'd all have problems.
Like we've done already.
Okay, we'd all have more problems.
That's just what we need, worse problems and more of them.
Because we don't
Yeah.
even know how many werewolves we're talking about here. Seems like there's new ones every day and shit. So, yeah. Somebody should go track these things and see how many there are. And oh, by the way, I'm not volunteering myself for that job.
No, neither am I. Just, werewolf tracking is above my pay grade.
So Marcy turns to you and goes, what kind of recipe you making tonight? Or for tomorrow?
Oh, I'm gonna do hamburger mac and cheese.
That should be fairly simple.
Yeah, with a Caesar salad and my favorite dessert ever, kind of Makes me sad I'm not human anymore. I'm gonna make a key lime pie. Love those things.
Yeah, well, key, key lime pie was the last skin shade my uncle had before he disintegrated.
Oh, well, nice. That's nice to know. Thank you for that.
Vampires do not look good in green now, quite
Pastel
like
green
that.
vampires? No.
No. Uh,
I mean, our normal skin ain't so pretty either. I mean, when you're used to being a nice peachy color, this gray is kind of off-putting, but at least at first.
just think of a human who starts out a nice rosy peachy color and ends up the color of a key lime pie before they disintegrate.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
I'm now looking forward to the first human family member that has to see that.
Well, like I said, I hope it affects humans differently. Hell, maybe it's not even fatal to them. Maybe humans who get it will actually end up getting better.
Well, yeah,
I mean, you
we
never know. This
we
isn't.
have
We don't know what this thing is.
we haven't had a human die yet, so that's a good thing. But if it's that spreadable, we're gonna end up with a lot of humans that have it all at once.
Yeah. Speaking of how spreadable it is, how are you feeling, Mars? I mean, you were spending a lot of time with your uncle. You doing all right so far, at least? Oh no! Oh no! He's rolling. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
When the DM breaks out the dice, you know there's a 50-50 chance of the shit hitting the fan.
Uh, she says, I'm feeling all right. I'm a little tired because that whole thing was kind of stressful.
Well, yeah, and I imagine you were doing a lot of, work and stuff over there, helping him out with shit. So,
And I was having to calm the family down when my uncle turned to dust because everybody panicked, which is understandable.
well,
But,
yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's not too fun watching your relative disintegrate.
yeah, so, but as far as how I feel, I'm feeling generally okay, just a bit tired right now. Could probably do with more sleep in the end, but I haven't noticed any symptoms of anything as of yet. So
Well,
hope,
that's good.
hopefully we're clear there.
Hopefully. I mean, we don't really know what the gestation period of this thing is.
No, we weren't really able to figure out how long my uncle had it before the really nasty part of it started. So we're playing sort of blind as far as that goes.
Right. And that's sort of most of what makes this thing so scary is we don't know what it is. All we know is that it didn't start natural.
No, there's nothing in the natural world that would do that to a vampire.
Well, yes, there is sunlight.
Well, yeah, but
Well, I mean, not the being sick part, though.
right. And and the really strange thing is he didn't go out in sunshine. So whatever he caught made him disintegrate. So now we have a second thing that will do that.
Right. That's not really what I wanted, but yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that makes us go poof is bad enough.
Yeah, and frankly, having to go through what he went through was worse than just stepping outside and catching fire for like 5 minutes and going poof.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully we can, get together with, Hanley and or Corvus or the Prince or whoever and figure out all
Yeah,
this shit.
yeah. Well, hopefully Hanley has a productive meeting with the prince. Um,
Well, he'll let us know either way.
yeah, yeah,
I probably better go get in the shower.
eh, yeah. We better get this thing started. So get your shopping done. I need to stop back at my. While you're doing that, I need to stop back at my family's house to uh, help make. Sounds funny to call it funeral arrangements being a vampire, but
Right. Been there,
you know,
done that.
yeah, but you got to do something with it. So, and I know my uncle wanted to be buried in dirt from his homeland, so we have to make arrangements to get enough of that to do that with. And that's going to take a few days. So I need to check in with that while you're doing your grocery shopping. Um, do you want to just meet at Hanley's or do you want to meet back here and then go to Hanley's in the same vehicle or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, why don't we meet back here and we'll just head over there together?
So she heads for the shower. Other than finishing your cup of blood, what do you do after that?
Go take a shower.
Oh yeah, she'd already been in the shower, so it's your turn to take a shower. So by the time you get on with your shower, she's all dressed and ready to go. Uh, are you gonna walk to the market or are you gonna drive down?
Now it's walking distance, so I'm gonna walk, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna call Kylie and let her know that I don't need her services as a computer tech tomorrow, because I'm gonna tell her the whole thing about
All right.
how Marcy's uncle did pass away, and she's back now. that I don't need Kylie's tech services, but I'll let her know that that don't mean we can't see each other every once in a while if she wants to continue doing that, because I'd like to.
So, are you doing a phone call or are you
Yes,
doing this
I'm.
by
Yeah,
text?
I'm calling her while I'm walking to the store.
Okay. She's like, hey Dee Dee, what's up?
Oh, hey, Kylie, just wanted to let you know that Marcy's uncle actually ended up passing away, and she's back home, so not gonna need you to do the tech stuff from a show tomorrow.
Um, well, it's too bad to hear about Marcy's uncle. What happened with that?
Well, he disintegrated. I guess that's what this disease does to vampires at the end.
She's like, oh crap, that's not good.
No, and apparently, according to the news, don't know if you watched it this evening or not, but humans are getting this shit too now.
Well, no, I've been busy and doing tech stuff in Corvus's office. Man doesn't know how to plug in a plug by himself. Um, and you hear in the background, you hear, I heard that.
Well, I mean, he's probably old enough that, they didn't have plugs when he was alive, for all I know.
She says, maybe that's why he can't figure it out.
But anyway, well, thank you for all the help you provided with my show and all. And just to let you know, if you still want to hang out sometime and, you know, uh, I'd like to do that.
I think considering how the last time we hung out ended, I think we can do that. Don't know about the weird dude in the strip club though.
Right, well,
But yeah, cause that was a whole lot of fun, including the girl at the club.
yeah, I had a good time too.
Don't normally do things like that, but yeah, um, we can definitely keep seeing each other. In fact, what are you doing after your show tomorrow?
Well, as of now, I don't have any plans for tomorrow. So I'm free.
No, I don't work on weekends. I told Corvus if he wanted me to work on weekends, he'd have to give me a raise.
and he was probably pretty quick to say, "Oh, that's all right. You can have the weekends off."
Right, yeah. Suddenly there wasn't as much tech work laying around as he thought there was.
Right.
So yeah, we could definitely get together tomorrow night after your show's over.
Well, that'll be great.
Well, I gotta finish this thing up for him before I can get out of here. So, uh, you have a good night.
You too. Yeah, I gotta go shopping for stuff for tomorrow's meal anyway.
That's true. You got ingredients to get.
Yep.
You should have a sous chef that does all that for you. YouTube should be paying you enough to afford that by now.
Well, I'll have to get together with Marce and look at the financials and see if there's enough for that. So,
But then again, I guess you have to go through all the ingredients once they brought them back to make sure they didn't mess something up. So it's
right.
like, but um, why don't you just give me a call? Let me know when your show's over tomorrow, and then we can figure out what we want to do and go from there.
All right. Sounds good. I'll give you a call then.
All right. Uh, night.
Night.
And by the time you're done with that little conversation, you find yourself at the door of the market. And you walk in, and it's fairly crowded for a Friday night. Uh, the weather is starting to get warmer, so there are more people out and about. And so instead of most times when you go there, there's hardly anybody there other than the staff.
Right, because it's pretty late at night.
So, but tonight being maybe between 6 and 7, there's a lot more people. So, um, you said you were making mac and cheese with
Yeah, I'm doing that.
hamburger.
You're right.
So, what ingredients are you after?
Well, I need ground beef. I need. Actually, I'm not sure if I have any onion powder left at home. I had a jar, but I think I might have used it up. So I'm gonna get some onion powder. Gonna well, I need the pasta first of all, the macaroni. So macaroni, ground beef, onion powder. I need all the ingredients for the key lime pie.
Uh, you got
I
the
mean,
you got the cheese you want for your
yeah,
mac and cheese.
I've got cheese. That's something I do tend to keep on hand because I use it in a lot of stuff. So I do have cheese, but of course I need everything for the salad too. You know,
Uh,
vegetables don't keep, so that's something I do need to keep buying.
right. So you got turns out you end up with a little bit heavier list than you were thinking of. And it takes you a little bit of time to find it all, and you got to get in line at the register, and there's a TV um, above. Excuse me. There's a TV behind the up on the wall behind the register, and it shows a reporter outside the emergency room of one of the hospitals in Louisville. And it shows people running around in the parking lot. And then you see cops, a cop car pull up behind the reporter. And four policemen get out of the car and rush into the emergency room. And the reporter says, "We don't really know the details of what's going on. We just know that one of the people with this new disease that we've been covering just attacked one of the nurses and almost killed her. Uh, that's why they called the police. We don't really know what's going on in there. We have to wait until somebody comes out that has definitive information."
So I'm thinking to myself, this might be a variation because that's not, I haven't heard of any of the vampires getting violent. Maybe it only affects humans like that. That's not a good thing at all. Maybe it turns humans into vampires. Who knows?
Well, see, that's the only thing the reporter knows is that one of them attacked one of the nurses in the emergency room. And the reporter's like, "We'll stay here on scene until we get more definitive information," but this is not looking like a good thing.
Now, are the other people in line watching this and
Yeah,
the cashiers and stuff too?
well, the cashier's not because she's busy checking people out. But the other people in line in front of you are, and everybody in the store can hear it because it's a little, it's a little corner market.
Right.
The TV's loud enough that you can hear it all over the store. They usually play like, you know, serious radio over the TV, and they usually have some like bad Christmas music or something going. Um, but with this thing, they've switched it over to the news because
I think I prefer bad Christmas music.
so you finally make your way up to the cashier and start putting your stuff on the conveyor belt thing. Uh, The girl that's the cashier is like, "This place is getting weird. I think it might be time to go."
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you.
I thought being a vampire was weird.
Wait, did she
The
just say she's a vampire?
No, she just said she thought being a vampire was weird. So she Actually, well,
I wouldn't know anything about that myself. But
actually, um, give me a wits and intelligence roll.
there's one success and it's a 10. Oh, that was an 8. So 2 successes total.
So you look a bit closer at her after that comment, and yeah, to be working in a corner market grocery store, she's dressed rather oddly. She's dressed completely in black. She's got dark black hair. Yeah. And she's like 17. Or at least that's the way she looks. And if you didn't know better, you'd think she was just some goth high school girl. But with 2 successes on that roll, you catch a glimpse at the side of her neck as she turned her head to check something on the register. And there are 2 little pinholes on the side of her neck. They look like they've been there long enough that they're starting to heal. So they're smaller than they would be. But you definitely notice them. And combined with the offhand remarks she made, you're pretty sure that she's been turned.
So, so in that case, I'll kind of lean in a little closer to her and be like, I don't think it's all that weird at all myself.
She sort of looks at you, and then she realizes that you probably saw her neck. It's like,
So I'll smile at her like real quick, just like a
uh,
flash, just so she can see my fangs, just like real
uh,
quick, and no one else would just go.
and you see, she's, while she's checking you out, she recognizes who you are because the younger crowd knows YouTube and all of that stuff. So she recognizes you for your cooking show and starts she sees you flash your fangs and she does her best to try and hide this smile, and her eyes get a little bigger, and she she tries to make small talk about your show, and like she's like, oh, what are you making tonight, or next show, and all this stuff.
I'm gonna make some
and,
hamburger mac and cheese.
and she's
Low calorie stuff, right?
low calorie, yeah. Oh, as a vampire, you don't ever have to worry about low calorie
Right.
shit anymore. Being dead sort of eliminates the diet problem. Uh, and yeah, she tries to make small talk so that the people behind you don't think anything is odd. But um, so uh, she's like, well, my name's Emily. Um, I'll watch your show tomorrow if you catch my comment uh, in the comments on YouTube. I'll gi- give you a shout out, as it were.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you.
Um, oh, and by the way, um, if I tend to have any, uh, you know, questions, and she sort of like rubs her neck like it's stiff. Like, do you mind if I get a hold of you?
Oh, absolutely.
Because
In fact, I'll I'll when she gives me my receipt, I'll tear a little piece off of it and write my phone number down and slide it across and be like, ah, you have any questions about, my recipes or anything, then feel free to get hold of me.
that would be handy because I'm sort of new to this whole thing.
Yeah, I kind of figured they're still there.
And,
So, yeah, I figured you're pretty young and all.
and she, as she's taking the piece of paper, she sort of leans over and whispers in your ear, the guy that did this is gone. So
Well,
I
that's
don't,
not that's not that's not right. That's not how it's
yeah.
really supposed to be done.
She's like, I don't really have any help with this. Hmm.
Oh well, definitely get a hold of me anytime you need.
Yeah. And she's like, um, if you if you drove here, I can help put your groceries in your car if you want me to. Or
Oh, well, I walked. I was actually thinking I wasn't going to have this much to carry back, but I mean it's not a problem, of course.
well, she's like, well, there's 3 bags here, but you know, if you walk, does that mean you live close by here?
Yeah, I live in a senior community just right around the corner, actually.
She's like, you don't look old enough to be in a senior community. What?
Well, no, but my sire, who's also my aunt, uh, is. So
You must have an interesting family.
I just found out about. Uh, just found out my mom's still around, but she is too. So not something I knew. And I sort of laughed, and I'm like, my dad's human.
uh, she's like, and people think we're strange. Uh, she says I get comments like crazy just dressing the way I dress. Like people in here are like, think I sacrifice people and stuff like that.
Yeah, people have funny thoughts about goths. I mean, don't mean you're demonic or nothing.
I just tell them I haven't sacrificed anybody for at least a week.
What you ought to do is ask them if they're volunteering. That'll shut them up.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, I do have this thing I was gonna do over the weekend. You want to help me out?
Right.
Uh, but she hands you your bags and she's like, yeah, definitely nice to meet you. Uh, like I said, I'll watch your show and like and subscribe and all that.
Great. And like I said, if you have any, questions or need any help with anything that might be going on, uh, give me a call.
I will. I definitely will. And with that, you sort of just casually walk out the door. Uh, as you turn the corner to head back home, you see a rescue unit parked. Oh, I won't say parked, stopped about 2 blocks from your place. And there's like 3 EMTs all huddled around in this one spot, looking like they're trying to help somebody that's on the sidewalk. So what do you do?
Well, I mean, I got groceries that I need to go put in the fridge,
Yeah.
so I should probably do that. And then if they're still all out there when I'm done, I'll go check and see what's going on.
So you go back into the house, put the groceries into the fridge, and you completely um, ignore or don't see Marcy sitting there on the table or on the sofa. And she's like, um, we've got another issue to possibly talk to Hanley about at dinner.
What's going on?
We, while I was at my uncle's house, we had a bit of a confrontation between a one of my cousins and an ill human.
Oh, was it someone you knew or just a random human?
Just a, just a person who was walking past the house. My cousin stepped out to feed the dogs, and this guy literally jumped him.
Oh, well, I was when I was at the store, they were on the news at the hospital and said one of the sick humans had attacked a nurse. So thinking maybe that's how this thing affects humans and makes them uh, aggressive or
Yeah,
feral or who knows what it's doing to them.
well, by reflex, my cousin basically picked this guy up and threw him like several hundred yards through him.
Right. Well, that's kind of what we do.
Um, and before my cousin could get back in the house, the guy was up in the yard again.
Really.
He covered several hundred yards in like 2 minutes.
Well, that's like something we can do.
Yeah,
So, does that mean this disease kills vampires and turns humans into vampires?
I know.
Seems like kind of seems like what it's
I
turning
don't.
out to be.
I don't know that it turns humans into vampires. It turns them into something similar, possibly, but way more violent and aggressive.
Well, that's definitely not a good thing.
Because we have restraint, or at least
Most of us
most
do,
of us
yeah.
have restraint. So this could be a serious problem.
Yes,
Uh,
it definitely could be, and this is something that, like you said, we definitely need to talk to Corvus or Hanley, but probably Corvus first.
pro- Bigger problem is now we have a human that knows that vampires exist too.
Well, if he's even human anymore.
Because this guy's not dead yet.
Right. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he's not exactly human, whatever he is.
And I'm thinking that I need to get a hold of Hanley and see if he'd be okay with me inviting Janice and Corvus to dinner.
Why would it be up to Hanley? I mean, there are reps. Wouldn't need his permission for that, would we?
Yeah, but we're having dinner at his house.
Oh, you mean invite them over to dinner? I thought you just meant invite them over to dinner at our place sometime. I was
No,
wondering why we'd need permission for that. No, I got you.
no, because we need to find out what Corvus talked to the prince about, and
Right.
we we need to keep everybody up to date on what's going on with this
Well,
crap.
yeah, things are getting pretty serious. Everybody needs to be on board with whatever this is. We still don't even know what this is.
And so she pulls out her cell phone and starts dialing, and she like calls Hanley and tells him what just happened, and he's like, and tells him what she wants to do, and he's like, "That's fine. We we've apparently got much more serious issues than we thought 24 hours ago. Um, they have that or not. Let's see, how can I do that? Give me another wits and intelligence roll.
That is 2 successes.
Just as she hangs up with Hanley, you hear what you can only call as a gargled scream from outside. It does sound like it's a little bit away from the house, but it's loud enough that with enhanced vampire hearing, you can hear this.
I better go see what that was all about then.
So are you gonna let Marcy know, or are you just
Well,
gonna?
I'm assuming she heard it too.
Yeah. Well, no, because she was on the phone with Hanley.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'm gonna say, yeah, something's going on out there. I'm gonna go check it out.
Okay. And um, so you walk out of your house. You have an idea what it is because of the thing you saw 2 blocks away while walking home.
Right.
Um, you get to where that was. The rescue units are still there. The 3 EMTs are laying on the pavement bleeding.
Okay, that's not a good sign.
And there's no sign of anybody else. So what are you gonna do?
Are the EMTs, are any of them alive or are they all dead?
Well, give me a medicine. You can walk up to them and give me a medicine check if you have anything in medicine.
I didn't see medicine on here. Oh, there's medicine. Yes, I have one dot in medicine.
So give me a medicine and intelligence roll.
Okay. Okay. Well, I got a success, but I also got a 1, so that's a wash.
Um, I'll say that, well, what you are able to, you can't really help them, but what you are able to figure out is they are in fact barely still alive.
Okay, well, I wasn't honestly thinking so much helping them as I was thinking asking one of them what had happened. But if they're barely alive, then I'm not going to get any answers out of them.
Yeah, none of the 3 of them are conscious. They are breathing, but they're not conscious.
Well, I guess then what I can do is call 911 and get an EMT out here to take care of the EMTs.
Yeah, because you thought about trying to stop the bleeding, and you're like, I don't know if I can do this with 3 of them.
Well, I'm better at, causing bleeding than stopping
Right?
it.
Yeah. So you call 911 and you give them the address. You're like, you guys better hurry. There's 3 of your own people that are
They're bleeding out here.
barely hanging on. And they're like, we'll be there right away. So are you gonna hang out and wait for the rescue unit, or you and Marcy gonna head over to Hanley's place for dinner?
Well, we don't have any information here. We don't know what happened anyway. So
No.
I guess we'll head on over to Hamley's. We'll take our Porsche.
Okay. That was gonna be my next question, whether you're taking the Porsche or the pickup truck.
I mean, Marcy just loves any opportunity to drive the Porsche. So.
And given that it's been a stressful day, she's like, why not? So you guys pull out of the garage in the Porsche, and you see the second rescue unit pull up to next to the first one. And as you're driving by, you see a couple of EMTs hop out of the rescue unit. So you're like, okay, at least whatever's gonna happen with them, they're good now. At least for now, anyway. So you guys, she presses the gas pedal and the Porsche takes off, and you reach the city limits, and um, um, you see a mob, basically, of humans with weapons, guns of various kinds. And they're trying to block the exit to the town. 3 of them basically step out into a 4-lane street and stand there with a weapon, trying to block cars from going in and out of the city limits. You guys,
And I'm assuming these aren't cops. These are just like regular people.
yeah, these are regular, like the guy that you saw on the news talking about the werewolf earlier. That's what this guy is.
Oh shit. So I'm gonna like lean out the window and be like, "Hey, what are you all doing? Some of us got places to be."
Like, we got people, yeah, just today we got people attacked by werewolves. We got whatever the hell that is in the hospital attacking the nurse. And it would, yeah.
I know, but you can't stop people from going about their daily lives.
Like, your daily lives don't count if we're all dead, lady.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, some of us already are, but I don't tell him that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call Hanley and I'll be like, we got an issue here. There's a bunch of idiots like blocking the freeway, the way out of town. Is there any alternative route to get to your place that you know of? Because looks like we're not going anywhere right now.
Yeah, if you turn east and go for about a mile and a half, there's a bridge you go over that leads you out of the city the back way. Most people don't use it anymore because the bridge isn't in the greatest shape and people are afraid of it. But you two being dead already, that shouldn't be a problem for you.
Right, that's what I was thinking. So I'll let Marcy know all this, and since she's the one driving.
And after you get out of the city limits, you just double back to the street that you normally take to my place once you've gone around whatever that is.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah. Uh, we'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Um, so you take the detour that he talked to you about, and you get back on the highway, on the 4-lane street after you've gone around Larry, Moe, and Curly there. And you're at Hanley's in a few minutes after that. And as you pull into the driveway, a certain familiar uh, puppy, for lack of a better term, charges up to the car. And
So is she in werewolf form?
yeah, and, and she like charges up to the car and just sits there waiting for you two to get out of the car. And very soon after that, Hanley walks out, and you can see on his face, he's like, "Oh, that's where she went." It's like, and so he stays on the porch standing there. So what do you guys do as you try to get out of the car?
I guess we get out of the car and uh, I'm sorry we're a few minutes late. There's, like I said, a bunch of assholes.
Marcy has not seen this little girl since the night that you guys helped her out. So Marcy walks around her side of the car and sees this amber colored werewolf who's basically the size of a 10-year-old standing there. And she's like, oh boy.
Mars, this is Sarah. She's the one we helped out, remember?
Yeah, and I remember Sara. So this is what Sara turns into, huh?
Yep.
And she actually, Sara looks at Marcy, takes a step or two back because she hasn't really met Marcy, and then basically leaps at you. And uh, all of a sudden, you have a small furry werewolf creature with her arms wrapped around your neck. And she's just basically hanging there. She's sort of expecting you to like grab her or something.
So I do. I'm like, you're not gonna give me doggy kisses now, are you?
Because she's basically just hanging there with her arms
Right,
around
so
your
yeah,
neck.
both of my arms around her.
Look, and um, so Marcy and Sara and you walk into Hanley's house, and as soon as you get inside, Sara switches into human form, and you're now carrying a little 10-year-old girl with her arms wrapped around you. She's like, hi, Dee Dee, how are you?
I'm doing all right, considering everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, it's like, I stopped watching the news earlier after that dumbass was talking about shooting werewolves and such.
Yeah, I'm surprised they only let you watch that at all. That's
Well, he didn't really have a choice. We were sitting there and the story came on, and then he was like telling me what idiots humans were, and I'm like,
well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you got Hanley here, because he'll do everything he can to protect you. I know that.
well, yeah. She says, feels kind of weird being a werewolf in the middle of a bunch of vampires, though.
Yeah, we're not so bad.
Well, at least you guys aren't.
Oh, and honestly, I guess you're not so bad either for a little werewolf.
Well, as long as I stay here, I can get food without having to go hunting. And that's a good thing because I don't have my parents to teach me how to do that.
Right, you're pretty little.
Yep. So,
And as you know, because you've experienced it, humans can be assholes. And
yeah.
I kind of look at Hanley and Marcy. I'm like, sorry, I know language. I'm just a little kid.
Well,
Sorry.
well, Hanley uh, basically walks over, picks up Sara from around her neck, and goes, um, dinner's gonna be ready in a little bit, Sara. Why don't you go get dressed while we before dinner?
Well, yeah, it's true because when you're a werewolf and you turn, you don't have your clothes on, I guess.
Well, well, no, that's one of the problems with being able to switch back and forth. It's one of the problems the Incredible Hulk always had. Is like uh,
Yeah.
switches back to Bruce Banner and doesn't have any clothes. But
So, and I'll ask it, Hanley, so are Carvis and Janice here yet, or are we waiting on them?
they are on their way. Um,
Hopefully they didn't run into that CF we ran into on the way over.
well, after you called, I called the cops. So hopefully the police will take care of these people.
Hopefully, because that I was. If I'd been behind the wheel, Mars, we might have had a little more problem on our hands than we do now.
Nah, maybe with your truck, not with my Porsche. Your truck's got a cow catcher on it. We can, just plow through them, but not with my Porsche.
Those people were pissing me off. That's all I can say.
You know, Hanley's like, yeah, and I'm afraid it's gonna get worse because not over, like, not only are they dealing with werewolves now, they're dealing with something
Everybody.
something none of us understand.
Right, but these people blocking they're blocking other humans from getting anywhere. They're just being idiots.
And some other idiot's gonna run them over. That's why I called the cops after you told me about it. Oh, hopefully the cops get there before they get, yeah, before the cops find, 3 puddles in the middle of the street there.
Hopefully. Although, no great loss and all.
Well, yeah, but you don't want that to spread around either.
Well, honestly, as far as human on human violence goes, yeah, I'm gonna stay out of all that.
Yeah, yeah.
If it happens, it happens.
Well, I have a bit of bad news. Between the time that I talked to you last, the nurse in the emergency room died.
So, did it ever come around, like come out, like, how she was attacked? I mean, what exactly did this guy do to her?
Uh, that's the odd part. I mean, this thing, there, there were like claw marks down the length of her body. And it it took her throat out with its teeth. And this
Oh, that's more of a werewolf thing than anything else.
this was a human being when it
Right.
did, which means it had regular human fingernails and regular human teeth. So,
Okay, because that's not terrifying at all.
so how the hell did it do this?
Oh, I don't want to know, actually. To be perfectly honest, I'd rather not know how it did that because that's fucking terrifying.
And and as far as the last report on the news went, because they did finally subdue this thing. It took 4 cops with 4 tasers, but they finally did it. This thing looked like a human guy in a hospital gown.
They just tased him. Why didn't they go ahead and kill him? Because, I mean,
Because they want to study him. They're like, what the heck is this thing?
yeah, well, that's on their own heads then because they're probably going to end up killing them too.
Well, um,
So we really need to get to the bottom of what's going on here and how to stop it because this is not good. I mean, this shit kills vampires and turns humans into God knows what. I mean, come on.
oh, are you going to mention what happened 2 blocks from your house?
Oh, yeah, I'll mention that. Be like, I don't know if it's related. I don't know what happened there. We weren't even, I mean, didn't see what happened, but yeah, there were 3 EMTs laying on the ground, all almost dead. They'd apparently gone there to help somebody, and that somebody did something. So I'm assuming it's another one of these crazy human things.
Yeah. Um, yeah, this is getting a bit overboard.
Yeah, so hopefully Corvus will have some ideas. As shit, too bad we couldn't get the. Well, you already talked to the prince. I was going to say, too bad we couldn't
Yeah.
get him out here to dinner, but
Well, he's busy. It takes a little bit more scheduling and such to get him.
right. Well, you
eh,
can let us know what he said about all this when we're having dinner.
Well, yeah. And at that point, um, Hanley's chef steps into the main room where you guys are. Um, and and he's like, dinner is can be served whenever you like. It's ready to go now. And Hanley turns to the chef and goes, could you go fetch Sara? She was supposed to be working on getting dressed for dinner. Um, could you pop into her room and see if she's ready yet? And the chef nods. He's like, I'll help her out if she needs some help. So the dinner doesn't end up being late. Hanley, and about this time, you hear a car pull up, and Hanley's dogs start barking. And a few minutes later, you see Corvus and Janice at the door. They, they walk in, and Hanley's like, you guys have good timing. Dinner was just announced. It's like, Corvus is like, Anywhere I can smell dinner for miles, so anywhere there's blood involved, I'm gonna be there. And Janice just sort of laughs at him. And you and Marcy say hello, and and the chef walks out holding Sarah's hand, and he's like, "Yep, she was ready. She was just playing in the closet." Um, Handling like that presents a bit of a problem. While we're having this conversation, what in the world are we gonna do with her? Because this is not a conversation she needs to be in the middle of.
Well, I guess if she wanted to go, hang out with your dogs in her werewolf form, they could do
Well,
whatever canines do.
well, yeah, I can. She likes playing with the dogs that way. It's more fun for her than trying to do it in her human form. So, after we have dinner, I'll suggest that to her. Um, it's almost 11. Do you need to take a break?
Yes, and we moved Chase's dinner time to 11 after the time change because it's like still about the same time.
Well, yeah.
So so we
T-
feed him at 11.
Technically, Earth-wise, it's still 10 o'clock, but
Right. So yeah,
like, so in about 15 more minutes, 10, 15 more minutes, we'll take a break and
right. And then I can feed him and feed me because I'm hungry.
so you guys head into the main dining room and yeah, while you're walking in, you're just basically making small talk. Sara is literally attached to your leg as you're walking through. Uh,
Hopefully she's not doing that thing dogs sometimes do on your
no,
line.
no, she's still in human form. She just got her arms wrapped around your leg, and she like basically following behind you. And then the chef gives her a look, and she goes over to this seat on the other side of the table, just near the head of the table. You can see a chair that has a like boost booster thing in it where she can actually fit at the table. And Hanley takes the seat at the head of the table right next to her. And uh, and the four of you take up the other side of the table, basically. And in a few minutes, the chef comes out with this thing on a platter that actually looks if you didn't know better, you'd think it was a pot roast with all the potatoes and the carrots and all that stuff. Because a human couldn't tell the difference until they cut into it. You're like,
And then you go, what the hell is
yeah,
this?
really. And he's like, uh, this is my newest creation. I hope you like it. And I was shooting for it to look like a pot roast. Um, and Hanley cuts in, looks at Sara, and then cuts into it. And basically gives her a plate with, but um, then he sort of stops like he remembers something and calls for the chef and is like, did you get Sarah's food earlier today? And the chef nods and he goes back into the kitchen and brings out this actual pot roast without the carrots and the potatoes and just the pot roast. This is like a 5 pound chunk of pot roast. He's cooked it. It looks like a cooked pot roast, but he sets it down in front of her and she just like starts tearing into it. See this little 10-year-old girl de- demolishing this 5 pound chunk of pot roast. And chef's like, I hope you uh, enjoy my attempt at a vampire pot roast, as it were. And one of the staff then goes around and fills up the goblets with your preferred blood type. And um, Sara looks up. Her mouth is like full of pot roast. And, but she says, how can you guys just live on that stuff? It's like,
It's what we do. If we eat anything else, we'll get real sick. So,
she's like, well, that's wrong.
oh, trust me, that took me a little while to get used to. I mean, I was a chef in life, so yeah, it takes a little while to get used to not eating.
Yeah, that would be really weird. She's like, I should come over to your house then and help you eat all your food.
Oh, hey, actually, that's not a bad idea. Maybe some night when I do my show, you can tell me what you want me to make, and I can do it, and you can, you know, have dinner over at our place.
She said that'd be cool, and Hanley's like, yeah, she might like that. She might like getting out of here for once. Uh, one small issue concerning her is she's basically a 10-year-old girl. We're going to have to do something school wise, or the city's going to start screaming.
Well, I kind of look at Corvus and I'm like, mate, do you have anyone on your staff or that you know of that could tutor her over here? You know?
Well, Kylie could teach her computer stuff as far as like general education.
I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you knew somebody, being the rep and all, but
Well,
I think that would be the way to go because I don't know about sending her to public school just for her own safety, considering how we found her and all. I
and con-
I think it would be safer to have somebody teach her here at the house.
and considering that we don't want her getting upset at public school and switching into wolf mode and killing some stupid idiot kid that gave her grief.
Well, there was that too. I was thinking more of her own safety, but I suppose that could happen.
Well, yeah, we're talking. She might be cute and she might be a 10-year-old, but she is a werewolf. It's like, you know, she's more dangerous to the general population than the
And
general
we are.
population is to her.
Oh, I don't know. Those assholes almost broke her leg. Well, they did break her leg.
Well, I think that's because they caught the whole family off guard, and her parents were trying, I would assume, not to turn into werewolves because that would have caused more problems. And so, but given that the population is now basically turned against the werewolves, she's sort of free to do what she wants. In fact, we should go kidnap one of those guys that were on the street, bring him back here and give him to her
Right.
just to let her play with him for a while.
I have another idea for a teacher. I might require permission, but I was thinking if I'm looking at Hanley about it. If you wanted to make a ghoul that could stay here and be her nanny and teacher, that would work.
Yeah. Fact, for that matter, I can find a human teacher, like a high school teacher or something, and turn her into a ghoul and she could be Sarah's private tutor or something.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
And he looks at Janice and Corvus because they're the reps anyway, and he's like, "Do you think there'd be any problem with me doing that?" And they're like, "Nah, I could, as long as you kept it to one, I could see that." He's like, Hanley's like, "I would like to make two ghouls actually. One for that and one to replace the staff member that passed away from whatever the heck this thing is." And they're like, "Okay, you want to make a ghoul out of the second one, or do you just want to make a straight up vampire out of the second one?" And Hanley's like, I think I'll make a ghoul because we're not really sure if they're affected by this or not. And Corvus was like, well, whenever you decide to do this, just give me a call. Hanley's like, okay, I can do that. And Sara's like, hold it, does that mean I have to go to school again? It's like, I thought being a werewolf would get me out of that kind of crap. And Hanley's like, well, you still got to be educated enough to deal with the world. Because there are stupid people out there, so. Yeah.
I need to go feed the beast.
Speaking of amber-colored furry creatures,
Right?
yeah,
That could devour a whole 5-pound pot roast if you let him.
and will devour you and Sean if you don't go feed him.
Right.
We'll be back in about 20 minutes and go from here. So let me make sure I hit the right button this time. Hello and welcome back to episode 8 of, or 9, excuse me, of Vampire the Requiem Louisville. Before the break, everybody in our little group was about to sit down to dinner in Hanley's humongously large dining room. In fact, you had sat down for dinner and had been served, and Sara was now busily demolishing a pot roast. And you were all eating something that looked surprisingly like a pot roast with all the trimmings, but when you cut into it, it wasn't, in fact, a pot roast. Was sort of like one of those Jello creation things, except the Jello part was blood and it still looked like a pot roast. And every so often, one of the Hanley staff would come around and refill your goblets with your preferred blood type. The most amazing thing about this pot roast is it tasted like pot roast, but you're safe to eat that because it's technically actually blood. You're not sure how it got it to taste like a pot roast, but and you have vague memories of when you were alive what a pot roast tasted like. And so during dinner, you guys basically make small talk, and yeah. every once in a while, Sara looks up from her pot roast and smiles at you and goes back to her pot roast. She doesn't use utensils, by the way. Hanley hasn't bothered to teach her human manners quite yet.
What self-respecting werewolf would use utensils?
Yeah, but if they're gonna be in the world as a 10-year-old, they've sort of got to learn to use
Right.
utensils. Maybe not at home, but if she ever well, you're gonna homeschool her, so she may not ever need to learn to use utensils. Um, after after a bit, Hanley sees that Sara's pretty much done with her pot roast because there isn't any. um, he gets up and, or actually, I guess he doesn't even need to get up. He leans over to her and says, um, we have some stuff we need to talk about, and it's not stuff that you can really add anything to. Um, why don't you change into werewolf form and go play with the dogs outside for a while? Burn off all those pot roast calories. Uh, and uh, you see her eyes light up, and she smiles and nods, and like, I like playing with the dogs. We get to run around. Um, but she then turns to you and says, "But you can't leave without saying goodbye."
I promise I won't. We'll say goodbye before we take off.
Okay. She gets up. She does push her chair in. Then, without saying anything, she switches into werewolf form in a matter of seconds. Um, it shreds the clothes she's wearing.
I look at Hanley and I'm like, how much money do you spend on kids' clothes?
And Hanley's like, yeah, this one's gonna eat up all my money. I gotta get some more girls for the strip club so I make some more money. And um, one of the staff members walks out with her so they can let the dogs out so they can play for a while. And once the staff member comes back in and closes the door, he's like, do you guys need refills on blood yet? Or are you guys good?
I'll take another one.
So he goes into the kitchen and grabs the bottle of your B negative, right?
Yeah.
So he fills your goblet with B negative. Here you go. If you guys need anything, I'll just be in the kitchen.
All right. Thanks.
Not a problem. Um, Hanley starts and he's like, the prince has been keeping track of all of this.
I would hope so.
And he wanted me to recruit the two of you, meaning you and Marcy, to do a little investigative work. Uh, because he's having to deal with the mayor and the city council and all the stuffed shirt types that you wouldn't want to deal with anyway.
What does he want us to investigate?
Well, he wants you, he wants you and Marcy to find out, if you can, where the werewolves came from. They didn't just sort of pop up in the middle of Louisville. Where did they come from? And if you can actually get one to talk to you, find out why they showed up. Because, and what their plans are, because the more we know about what they're gonna do, the more we can mitigate the problem.
Right. I mean, the only werewolf we know is Sara, though. I'm not sure how we're going to find one that's going to talk to us. Unless we find and happen to find another one that's being beaten on by humans and we save them, then maybe they'd have some sort of gratitude. But, like, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Um, Give me a uh, intelligence and socialize roll.
Okay. Intelligence. And socialize. That's a wash. Got a one success, but I got a one.
Uh, 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 I'll roll for Marcy and see if she does any better than you did. She got one success, but didn't get the one on the end that you got. So she got one success. She goes, hold it, I may have an idea. You know that photographer guy we ran into?
Yeah, I remember him.
He was taking werewolf footage Uh,
Well, that was just where they happened to be at the time. I don't think you
right.
necessarily know where to find them now.
Well, yeah, but we could at least ask him.
Well, that's true.
And it's a start at least.
Right, that's true.
Um, and the other thought I had is remember our 4 vampire friends in the police department?
Of course.
Well, the police department's been dealing with werewolves because they've killed a couple of policemen along the way.
Well, that's true.
So we could get our vampire cop connections, do a little uh, poking around in the police computer
Oh, well, that I didn't even think of that. That's not a bad idea.
and see if they can find addresses or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, um, well, you got a date tomorrow night, so you're kind of busy.
Yeah, I do have that.
But I could go to the police department tomorrow and after your show, and if any of the 4 of them are there, I can talk to them
All right.
while you're on your date.
Well, that's a start. It'll work.
And Hanley's like, uh, I got a few connections in this town on the business side of things. And I can have some people snoop around and see what they can find. Um, you know what? I think I thought of something better. Um, I'm gonna have a couple of friends of mine see if they can talk to anybody in the emergency room at the hospital. See if we can get a lead on that strange side of things.
Right.
That way, between all of us, we can try and cover both ends. Um, Corvus and Janine are sort of just watching and listening and going, um, we'll let the prince know anything you guys find out. Because until this gets better, we're going to be in rather close contact with the prince most of the time. Because this is the biggest threat to vampires that we've had.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Mm. Um, about that time, you hear Marcy's cell phone go off. She says, she pulled it out of her purse and looked at it and says, oh, this is a family thing and I need to take this. This is probably about my uncle's funeral. I'll be right back. And she wa- she walks into the hall a little bit to get some privacy. And a couple minutes later, you hear her go, in an agitated voice, be like, okay, okay, I'll go look out the window. And she's like, she turns to you guys and goes, something's going on outside. That was my family. But they're like, take a look out your window.
All right.
So you and Hanley and Marcy and Corvus and Janine go over to the big bay window. And as you're watching this, both all of your jaws basically hit the ground. Um, because, and especially Marcy's, because you basically see three humans chasing Marcy's cousin.
Oh,
Because Marcy's family's house is only a little bit up the road from Hanley's place.
okay.
And because it's in a subdivision that's sort of a subdivision of large, rich, fancy houses.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so you see these three humans in tattered clothing chasing Marcy's cousin.
Okay, that's not good.
And Marcy's cousin is a vampire.
Right.
He's running full out, and they're keeping up with him. And they catch him.
Oh,
And just as they start to mob Marcy's cousin, Sara and the dogs jump them. And they're, they just start tearing into these three humans, and Sara pulls one off of Marcy's cousin, and she's got him by the back of the neck with her teeth, and she's dragging him off, and there's blood everywhere out in the front yard. Uh, these three humans are like bleeding bleeding out of several spots, and uh, Marcy's cousin is sort of just laying there. Uh, and then a couple minutes later, you start hearing police sirens.
okay.
And you don't know if these are human police or the your four friends on the police force, or
Right.
And Marcy's like, we can't let the cops find out what my cousin is.
Right.
So we need to go out there and clear this up.
Okay.
And so she basically charges for the door to head out to the front yard before the cops get there. And while this is going on, Sara and the dogs are still like fighting with these three humans.
So are these humans or are these whatever the sick humans become?
Well, they're they're the, for lack of a better term, modified human, because they were running stride for stride with Marcy's cousin,
Right.
and you guys can run. So they're, yeah, and a regular human couldn't do that. Yeah, even if they were a world class sprinter.
I was just going to ask, what about a like a gold medal
Yeah,
champion?
yeah, even one of those couldn't keep up with a vampire for any distance at all. They might start out together, but the vampire's gonna take them speed wise. Uh, well, you saw how quickly Hanley moved when he
Right.
was, yeah. So, uh, and they were doing that. So she charged out into the yard and grabbed her cousin, you know, puts her arms around him, and he's pretty badly beaten up. Uh, it looks like the three humans got to him, and then he was able to get away. So he's in pretty rough shape. Not as rough as the three humans currently, but because, oh, and that's something else, because it looks like Sarah's actually ended one of them. So
Did you say
she
injured or ended?
ended
That's what I
as
thought you said. I wasn't sure.
as in dead, as
Right.
in,
Yeah.
yeah. She basically snapped his neck with her teeth, and
Good
he,
girl.
he's bleeding everywhere, and the four dogs have the other two pinned, and
They were playing. Two dogs were playing tug of war with each one
right, yeah. It's
of
like,
them.
you know, Sarah's got a pretty potent little group there as far as, in fact, you can tell she's become sort of the alpha of the group, because they look they look over to her to see what she wants them to do, and she, she looks at the other four dogs and actually howls. And at that point, the other four dogs take these two humans and basically tear them limb from limb. It's like there's now human body parts laying in the front yard. And Sara sees Marcy with her arms around her cousin, and Sara walks over and just stands there and like looks at Marcy like, did we do the right thing? And yeah. So what do you and Hanley and uh, Corvus and Janice do as you're
What?
hearing as you're hearing sirens getting closer?
Well, are we still inside or have we gone outside?
You 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 didn't tell me. That's what I'm trying to find out. You haven't told me whether you guys went outside or
Well, at this point, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to I would go over to the other side of Marcy's cousin and put my arm around him too and help him into the house.
not. Okay. I'm rolling to see if he's even still alive at this point. Uh, two. He he is alive. He's wounded pretty severely, but being a vampire, he should heal up probably in a with this much injury, probably a week or so.
And
But
we'll help him in and figure out what to do with him because I mean, like I said, don't really want to take him to the hospital and all because
uh,
he's a vampire. But
uh, Hanley's like, I really need to keep a doctor on staff. Apparently, this is getting ridiculous. And oh, as you're helping Marcy's cousin into the house, Sara runs up behind you. And after you put Marcy's cousin down, uh, Sara looks at you the way she looked at Marcy, go with this look on her face, like, yeah, did I do the right thing or am I in trouble? Or, yeah, I'm like,
so I so we'll kind of bend down at her level and be like, "Thank you so much. You were such a big help."
like, uh, she, for a minute since she's inside, switches back to human form and is like, I didn't really understand what was going on, but that didn't look right.
No, I think you and your friends out there might have saved his life, actually.
Well, uh, hope so. I'm glad to hear that. It's like, that just seemed wrong. um, uh, am I gonna get in major trouble for like killing something?
Well,
Cause,
I kind of glance at Hanley and I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, if
cause,
you were a
I,
dog, I mean, well, sort of
yeah,
dog, so dogs
yeah.
kind of do that
It's like,
sometimes.
it's like, yeah, but I snapped his neck and killed him.
Well, he was gonna kill this guy here, so and anyway, you might have Honestly, you might have done that poor thing a favor as well, because
Mm.
humans aren't supposed to be like that. So
Yeah,
something was very wrong.
Marcy walks up to the two of you and is like, yeah, I've never seen anything like that. I don't know who's behind this, but we need to find out.
Oh,
'Cause,
absolutely. I said, well, that's really the first thing we got to do before we can stop it is find out who and why.
yeah. And he's like, she's like, this thing, whatever this disease is already cost me one family member and pretty close to costing me a second one. I I want to find out what this crap is before it takes down another one of us.
And at this point, honestly, I'm kind of wondering if it is, after all, something that was targeting vampires. Like it kills vampires, and then it makes humans these things that can kill vampires. So I'm wondering if we were the target all along.
Hanley, Hanley says that very well could be. Um, the thing, as far as what it does to humans, that might have been a side effect that nobody thought about.
Well, I'm thinking it might maybe was part of the plan. It was like, yeah, we're going to kill vampires, but we're also going to make it possible for humans to kill vampires.
No.
Like it could have been intended or it could have been unintended. We don't even know at this point.
Mm. We don't have any information on where this virus came from, who did it, or how to fix it.
Right, or why they did it, or even how they did it. Because I mean, I don't think most people are, engineers of viruses, so it would have to be someone with special knowledge and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So we're looking at scientists, doctors, something like that.
right, probably, yeah. Or at least somebody that has scientific or medical knowledge. It, but it's also somebody that knows about vampires
Right, and has a thing against them, apparently.
because,
But I guess most humans probably would have a thing against vampires if they knew about them. Come to think
yeah,
of it.
if humans knew that we existed, then yes. But for right now, I think humans have enough on their plate realizing that werewolves exist. So,
Yeah,
so
and a lot of them have actually ended up on the werewolves' plates too. So there's that.
maybe maybe that'll give us enough time to do the research we need to do without humans trying to kill us off at the same time.
Yeah, well, with this disease already out and killing us off right and left anyway.
Yeah, that was one thing that the prince was saying. He didn't think we had a whole lot of time. He's like, we need to figure this out now.
Yeah, well, I don't want to, explode into dust anytime soon. I don't know about you all, but I definitely don't want to do that.
Marcy says, that's the easy part. It's everything that leads up to that that really sucks. You know, all the being sick and turning green and all this crap.
Yeah, I haven't been sick in 20 years. I don't want to get sick.
Yeah. Vampires don't normally, unless you do some, like what you eat, take blood from somebody that's like really extremely ill with some bizarre
Right.
tropical whatever.
Or eat human food.
Right. Well, that doesn't make you sick. It gives you the vampire equivalent of food poisoning is what that is.
Well, that makes you pretty sick.
Well, yeah, but you're not sick for a week and
No,
then
no,
die. So, but
no, but it goes
uh,
up and out pretty quick.
yeah, and Marcy, like, I'll definitely start the werewolf research we were talking about. I'll start on that tomorrow. Uh, Marcy is like, um, I enjoyed dinner, but now I'm not really in the mood. Would you guys mind if uh, Dee Dee and I headed home? Because this has got me sort of rattled.
Are we gonna take your cousin home with us, or look at him and
What?
I gonna take care of him here?
Um, Hanley's like, well, it would take me a while to find a doctor, um, but I don't know if you guys can do any better because there aren't very many doctors that will treat vampires or even know how. Uh, he his injuries don't look like they're going to be mortal or anything. So within a week, if he rests up for a week, he should be fine. The problem is getting him to stay in one spot for a week.
Right. So I look at Marcy, I'm like, should we bring him home and he can stay with us?
She says, I would feel better if we did that. That way, when he does wake up, he at least sees me.
Right.
Um, he shouldn't cause any trouble, I don't think.
I mean, you can have my room. I sleep on the couch, and we got bright blackout curtains all over the house.
Yeah, that's true. Hanley's like, or the three of you can just hang out here for a week. Other than you doing your show tomorrow, is there any reason you need to be home?
Well, I guess not. Come to think of it, I mean, you have enough room for us all.
Oh, I've got three more guest rooms, plus you also know that there's a bed down in the basement because you and Magnus used it
Right.
not long ago. So, and I know Sara would like it if you were hanging around for a while.
Oh, I'm sure she would. So
Yeah,
I kind of look at Marcy. I'm like, it's your call. It works for me. I mean, yeah, I want to do my show at home tomorrow, but other than that, you know, I can come
she's,
back here after my date.
yeah, she's like, yeah, I can. How about this? If I'm gonna start doing research, I want my laptop and stuff around. So, um, but I guess we can grab that after we do the show, and you know,
Right, we can grab anything we need after the show, and
yeah.
you can you can bring it on over. And like I said, I'll meet you back here after my date. Well, depending. I mean, I might come back here the next night.
Well, and Marcy's like, or you might bring Kylie over here.
Well, that too.
So, um, she says that works for me. So, uh, um, and about this time, Sara comes bounding back in the front door and literally leaps into your lap, says, and just sits there. And like, Hanley's like, I think you're stuck with something. And he turns to Sara and goes, you know, Dee Dee and Marcy are going to stay for a week. And she literally starts licking your face like a puppy would. So Hanley's like, well, I don't think you could go anywhere now if you wanted to.
No, I guess not. I guess this just about settles it.
Yeah, I think you'd, if you were going back to your place, I think you'd have to take her with you.
Oh, well, we'd either have to take her with us, or you'd have to deal with her sitting by the door and howling all night. So,
Right? Yeah. And I definitely don't want to do that because she starts doing that. The dogs outside will start doing that, and I really don't want that. And with that, she switches back to human form and immediately hugs you and goes, you know, not gonna let you leave if you stay here for a week. And, and then she turns to Hanley and goes, you don't gotta worry about the four outside. I can make them do or not do anything I want them to. He's like, oh, really? She's like, yeah, I'm in charge. He's like, oh, good. Another mess I have to deal with.
really, now his dogs aren't going to listen to him at all.
Right? Yeah. They just will listen to Sara now. It's like,
Right.
um, so, so at this point, after all this activity, you can see the sun starting to just nudge over the horizon, and it's time for you guys to take shelter for the day. Um, you're gonna take one of the guest rooms, you're gonna head down to the basement. What are you gonna do?
Well, I know Mercy mentioned that she wanted to go home, but it's a little close now, so I think we ought to probably take a couple of the guest rooms here.
Yes. Uh, you can get your stuff uh, tonight when you do
Right.
this. When you do the show, going outside now would be not a good idea.
Well, I just kind of have the feeling she kind of wanted to get away from all this right now, but yeah, it's
Uh,
a little too close to dawn, so I think
Right.
it's better just bed down here.
So she's gonna snag one of the guest rooms, and Corvus and uh, Janice are gonna share one of the guest rooms, and then you gonna take the third one, or you gonna go downstairs?
I'll take the third guest room.
Which happens to be right across from where Sarah's room is. So she's like, that'll be nice. When I wake up tonight, I can go jump on you and wake you up. Um, Hanley's guest rooms look like any other bedroom in a high class mansion. They're absolutely gorgeous. Each one of them has a bathroom connected to it. Um, they all have blackout curtains. It's like most 4-star hotels don't look like this. Uh, that's what being a multimillionaire can do. Uh, you never knew the strip club business made this kind of money. Plus, he is a city council member, so he's got to keep his reputation and such. Um, so everybody heads into their room, and you go into your room and you're getting ready to crash for the morning, and you turn around and you see uh, Sara standing there, and she's like, "I had a question. Do you
Yeah.
mind if, you know, my bedroom is perfectly fine, but I was wondering if I could sleep with you.
Well, I don't see why not.
Um, which form would you prefer me in?"
I was going to ask which form you were intended.
Well, yeah, I normally sleep in, well, about half and half. You know, if I'm in werewolf form because I've been running with the dogs, I'll generally just stay that way. But if there was some reason I needed to be in human form, yeah, I'm good with that too.
Whichever form you're more comfortable in.
Mm, hmm. Um, well, I guess since I'm in human form at the moment, um, so she walks over. Uh, she is dressed in like a small a small nightgown that a 10-year-old girl would be in. Mm. Although uh, it's got pictures of uh, brown-haired little puppies all over it. And you can pretty much guess that Hanley had this made for her, because you're not going to find something that looks like this in a Walmart or something. Yeah, Hanley probably had most of her clothes made for her. And so she um, climbs into your bed. Before you even get there, she like jumps into your bed. so, so what do you do at this point?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to sleep in my clothes. I don't have a nightgown with me.
I really don't think anybody that was there would really care. You're talking about vampires after all.
Oh, right, no, but I'm talking about comfort. Clothes
Yeah,
aren't that comfortable to sleep in.
yeah,
But like you said, nobody's gonna care, so I think I'll just take them off and
yeah.
sleep naked.
Right. Mm. So you do that and you climb into bed next to Sara, and she immediately like attaches herself to you and uh,
So
is,
I'm kind of thinking to myself, the poor thing. I mean, she likes Hanley and all, and they get on, but I think the poor thing needs a mother figure.
yeah, and yeah, especially since she doesn't know where the rest of her family went to or even if they're still alive. Yeah, she's basically imprinted now on you and Hanley, and she's like, these are my people,
Right,
like your average dog does.
right.
And and like any dog who's decided who her people who her people is and where her territory is, she would prefer if you and Hanley were in the same place all the time. She's like, that's what I want. And as a 10-year-old girl, she knows that that's not necessarily possible, but it's still what she wants. And um, your sleep is not necessarily all that restful because of all the things that have happened the last few days. Yeah, because you guys have now realized you're in danger from a couple of different directions, and you don't really know what to do about either one of them at this point. And then you look down and there's this angelic looking 10-year-old girl attached to you, and she's asleep and has this smile on her face like, okay, now I'm where I should be. And the whole time you're worried about whether any of you or all of you are going to survive or not, because this is getting weirder and weirder by the day. And that's where we're going to end this, with you guys having things to do next time. So, I hope whoever sees this once I get it up on YouTube enjoys it as much as we did. On that point, did you have fun?
Always.
You didn't think you would end up with your very own werewolf puppy, did you?
No.
So,
I better make sure I don't slip up and badmouth werewolves around her.
yeah. Well, you don't. Vampires really don't have a reason to unless you guys go into all out war, which has happened. But at this point, with with what's going on with humans, you guys have other problems to worry about.
Well, we also have the werewolf problem still going on.
Yeah.
But this little werewolf is not a problem.
No, she's the biggest problem you're gonna have with Sara is having to leave in a week,
Right.
walking out the door in a week. Then you're gonna have a problem with Sara. But
Right. I'm gonna be dragging one leg behind me with a werewolf
right,
attached to
yeah,
it.
yeah, really. So,
Just as long as she doesn't decide to bite me to make me stay.
well,
Okay.
it's like, how do you think she's going to attach herself to your leg? Look, yeah, look, I told you you weren't going anywhere.
Right.
But yeah, so, but I should have this up within 48 hours. Um, if you like the games we're doing here, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And, we're still trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers. We've been sort of stuck at 36 for a while. And this will be also, when I get it up on YouTube, it'll be available on podcast, uh, like we have been doing. Um, and and buy all of Robin's books because she needs more income. We want her to become a wealthy author type person. Uh,
Hey, yeah, if you like things like vampires, werewolves, creepy shit, buy my
yeah,
books.
yeah. That's actually the sort of stuff she writes about.
Hmm.
So, yeah. She gives me ideas of what to do to her characters and then complains about it when I do it. So there you go. Uh, but and next week will be Fallen Dragons, and then the week after that will not be Vampire. We'll be giving Vampire a week off because we'll be doing the Easter version of Cthulhu. And as
Nothing says Happy Easter like Eldritch Monsters.
right, well, people don't know it, but the Easter Bunny was an eldritch monster to begin with. He's just disguised really well. What you can get candy eggs in the supermarket with green slime in the middle of them now. So there you go. And every little kid should, pray to their own eldritch monster. Yeah, you get just about as much response. So,
Right.
but so stay tuned for Fallen Dragons because that's becoming a more of a mess as it goes, and
Our party's becoming more of a mess as
yeah,
it goes.
and every time Robin plays Cthulhu, her character dies, so you'll want to tune in to see how that goes. So that's what's up with us till the end of the month, and so um, I think that's all I got for now. So um, we'll see you next week for Fallen Dragons.
See you next time.
Yep. But